Look, I'll be honest here. We AI people think that all these businesses and organizations understand the capabilities of AI and understand differences between Sonnet, Opus, Midjourney, and all these other tools when they have no clue what AI can do for their business. I talk to businesses every single day. They tell me, Adham, just explain to me what AI can do for my business. And there's a big demand. There's a big opportunity over here if you can just get them over that initial obstacle of them just actually seeing, removing the lens and giving them the glasses so they see the capabilities of AI and what it could do within their business. I'm going to prove it to you in this video. So let's jump into it and let's capture this opportunity together. So let's talk about this big opportunity right now with the application being world-class onboarding using AI, because this is exactly what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks for my clients, fixing the onboarding process and also giving them a framework they can apply for their clients as well. So we're going to cover three things in this video. Point number one is from founder level strategy, from a very high level to the nerdy details in terms of should I use this tool, what application should I use, should I use Cursor, Claude, whatever AI tools there are, just to capture this wave of the big AI opportunity. Point number two is the application being the onboarding process and space grade systems for businesses. And point number three is a demo of how you can inject AI in the processes. This is market research language, by the way, injecting AI and streamlining and automating as much as possible. You're going to see in a bit. If you don't know who I am, my name is Adham Alkhaja. I've sent a couple of satellites into outer space, pursued my PhD in space engineering. And an important part for this video is I've launched a SaaS, and that SaaS has been shown in Entrepreneur Middle East. And this was a SaaS, not the best of the dashboards and frameworks, but it worked and got funding at that time itself. And you could do this very easily right now without devs using Lovable and other tools. So we've come so far. So the big opportunity, what is the big opportunity? I opened Twitter. I don't know who this guy is, by the way, but he mentioned this, and I saw it on my feed saying that looking for someone to come into my organization and A, automate, streamline as many processes as possible. Two, inject AI in any and all processes where it would help. Does this type of automation AI expert exist? Very important point. This means to me that this person has not seen the content and all the things that are going within the AI space, meaning that we are in our own bubble. These are business owners, they have not seen what we're doing within the space, and they're asking if they exist. They're not saying if there is someone or the comparison between these two people. Think about market sophistication, breakthrough advertising. This person is at the stage of being problem aware, but not solution aware, where they can compare different solutions or different experts within the marketplace. And if so, who is the expert in the who's the best in the world, which is my objective for you, to be the very best in the world within your market in client results. And then if you look below here, I literally reached out to the few people yesterday for this too. I feel like this space is going to explode, and this comes on the back of, if you were noticing in the past couple of months, the founder of Kura, Fiverr, and a lot of these big companies were mentioning something similar. Is there someone like this we can hire? One person we can hire like this so they can do these two things. This is market language, by the way. If you want to create content from now going on for LinkedIn, YouTube, and so on, use these words because this is the exact word they use. And I created a video on this on approximately 1 month back, where I was showing you how I sold a workshop just to get into these organizations. And I'm going to talk about this in a bit more details in just below over here. So what this person is saying essentially is there's this traditional organization that's happening, a big, let's say, entity or organization, governmental entity, and so on. There are people within the organization, and there are two types of opportunities where we could inject AI within this organization. One is top down approach, which is a business performance opportunity, which is using AI to push revenue scaling or the business or making it more efficient. And from a bottom up approach is personal productivity, where the employees can use AI in order to write better emails, draft reports, and so on. These two work together in tandem in order to inject AI within the organization to be more efficient, to reach their goals, to be tech enabled, AI enabled, and so on and so on, digital transformation, and all those cool words that people use. And from my experience, let me just share with you 2 points over here how to enter these organizations, one, and what not to do as well, because this is a critical mistake over here. So your entry point should be not saying that I will come and make your complete organization from sales to marketing to all the departments AI enabled. I'm going to look at the process and do XYZ, because that's too much friction for them. Businesses right now have been burnt, organizations have been burnt, and they're thinking, what's the use of this technology? Yesterday, I was talking to someone and he was telling me that Adham, just explain to me what AI is capable of. I just want to know how AI can work for my organization before me actually telling you I want this solution, I have this problem, and so on. So focus on one function only, then you can go full organization. Let's do other departments. And a very important point on this point over here, does this type of automation AI expert exist? This means that we have not pre-sold with enough content online with the proper positioning, and we have not built our world around this, even though me and you know that there are many AI experts, AI consultants, AI automation experts, and so on that exist within the marketplace, but this guy doesn't. And that shows to me that we are in our own bubble over here. We can say that it's his fault, he doesn't look at the market and so on, or we could say it's our fault, we were not loud enough. And I prefer doing the second option. Gives us more power and more control in order controlling the variables over here. And point number two is, when you're going to enter these organizations, don't go in and give any vibe or sign or any way show that you're coming as a tech solution provider, because this goes into one, the legal aspect, and two, it goes into the tech aspect, where they're going to bring their CTO to the meeting, they're going to bring the IT department to their meeting and tell you, okay, what standards do you follow, what will you do here, what exactly. They're going to overcomplicate everything to a point where you're not going to make the sale. So your entry point should be and can be a workshop, for example. In my case, I use workshops to enter, educate, show, and give them just a roundup in terms of how business performance will be better, personal productivity will be better. And let me give you a live example of how I did one recently. I asked the person, what problems do you have? And once I knew that person had certain problems, I said, okay, I'm going to come and do a workshop, 90 minutes, get your executive team, get your employees, get these people, like key players involved. And in that meeting, I'm going to take these three problems and solve them live for you on spot using Lovable and these tools. I'll just show you a full demo of what this is capable of, coming to your level in terms of showing you your problems, and then let's speak. That's a different approach than going and telling you, I have the solution for your marketing department. Do you want the software or not? That's going to overcomplicate everything. So get in with a workshop. My way is workshop. I know people do consulting offers and so on, but my way is a workshop, very simple, 90 minutes, get it done, and you open a bunch of doors for everything else. And point number two is pricing. So these big organizations and entities have certain things going on in terms of the procurement department, the HR department, all department, they have these policies and so on. So make sure your price low enough that it's below that threshold that many approvals are needed in order to get that done. I know what that number is in the UAE for certain entities, but it may be different for different countries. And don't keep it low enough where you're going to resent the client. Keep it high enough so you make profit, but low enough to avoid the hectic approval procurement. Let me sign this. This takes 90 days in order to get done, and so on. So this is just how you can get into businesses and the big opportunity that I've been talking about. So now let's look at the onboarding application. How does this one function, if we're going to focus on one function within this workshop, look like? I chose onboarding here because this is exactly what I'm working on right now. And onboarding is one function within a business, and it's one of the most important functions that people do not care about, and especially the beginners when they don't have enough clients and so on. They say, I just want to get my marketing and sales right because I really do not care about onboarding at this point. And onboarding happens when someone purchases, and then the 7 and 10 days after that purchase or that Stripe notification that you get. And if you can wow clients within this first 7 days, let's say 7 to 10 days, they're more likely to pay you more money for more stuff in the future, higher LTV for your nerds. And point number two is they'll have a higher probability of getting the results because they're more committed right now. And there's a higher probability that they're going to refer you to other people. And this will go very smoothly if this is done really well. Like, I feel really bad if onboarding does not go well, even though it delays by 1 hour. I feel really bad internally. I know, because this may impact, even though it does not have that much of an impact if it's 1 hour or 30 minutes, but I take it so seriously in terms of onboarding. So this is why I was working on this process. So now let's zoom in into this aspect over here. And every business, by the way, has their own process. I want just to relate it back to organizations. Every organization is different. Every business is selling different things. They have their different onboarding processes and so on. So my objectives for an onboarding process, and every department or function within business has objective, is one, high time to value. meaning that I want to get to value really fast in terms of I don't want to take too much time to get to value in order to get their quick first win with the help of AI because AI accelerates everything. I want to have 7 to 9 touch points, ideally a touch point daily in the 7 to 9 to 10 days. I want them to have the lowest friction of action, but get the biggest results. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean over here. And I want to calm down the payment emotion because once someone pays you an any amount of money, they're immediately asking themselves, did I just make the right decision or not? Did I just burn my money on this person or not? Because it's kind of an emotional jump for them. You want to calm that down and reinforce that they made the right decision. So let's look at this spectrum over here before getting into the onboarding process. So how I think about onboarding and client delivery in general is this spectrum over here. So the first question I would ask, and I'll ask you right now, is what would the ideal scenario be for your clients after they pay? Like, what would this extreme ideal scenario be in terms of they pay money, they get the result? Like, for example, if you're selling leads to someone, as soon as someone just pays and clicks pay now, they get leads. That's the extreme scenario of them like paying for you. That's extreme. I mean, I want you to think that extreme in terms of your market. For my market, I know people come to me for business clarity, and they bundle it with I want more leads. My content is not working. I want more sales. I want more clients and so on. But essentially, they want more business clarity in terms of what's their next step. And the ideal scenario over here, as soon as someone pays me, I want them to get a personalized step by step of what to do every single day until they hit this target of theirs. So that's the ideal scenario as soon as they pay. Like I know their data, I know everything, I understand. That's like the ideal scenario. This is very important. Once that's clear, take this filter of realistic thought or smart goals as they call it and try to make it as realistic as possible based on your capabilities, and then you have your target over there. And how I think of onboarding is this equation over here, or this matrix over here, is that you have value and time. What's high value and low time? Just focus that and adds in the onboarding, keep the other stuff for later on. So this is how I think of onboarding and providing the value. So what's the start trigger of onboarding and this function over here? Let's say if you have a different function, you have a different start trigger, but this function over here, someone paid me money. Someone paid me money. What's going to happen instantly? I put it as day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and this is based on feedback, by the way. And I put it over here because I asked some of my clients recently. I told them a bunch of questions actually. So I told them, you've been through the program, you've been through these levels, you've done these XYZ, you've added AI within your business. What did you hate? What did you like? What should I remove that you really do not care about? What should I add? How is the onboarding and so on? So I got proper feedback out of this, and this is why I was fixing everything. So let me show you an example of how you would play this out. You'd put it out as day 0 until day 7 to day 10. And each day you're going to say, and this is AI injection, by the way, but we're not going to look at that for now. First, start with the manual process and say, first, day 0 is going to happen. Welcome email. I'm going to give them access to everything. I'm going to welcome them to WhatsApp group. After 2 hours, I'm going to send them another email of how to get their first win or quick win. And day 1, they're happy. Some people don't like to do this. Some people say that I'm overwhelmed. I just paid you money. So let's do it the next day. So depending on your market and niche and the price you're charging, of course, your onboarding will differ. Then day 1 could be, okay, I'm going to email you, fill out this pre-onboarding call form, and have 30-minute onboarding call, maybe day 2 or day 3. And day 2 can be email to ensure everything is complete, level 0 is complete, and then check in if they're clear on their next step or not. I'm just checking in. Don't be annoying here, just do things. And then day 7 and day 10 and just talk about things. Then I took this another level. I said, okay, we have AI now. We have tools like Lovable, OpenAI, and these all tools over here. How can we use this in order to speed everything up and give that premium feel? Very important note over here. I think this feel, I don't have a term for it yet, but this feeling that someone has with your business, which essentially makes it a brand and not a business, the feeling associated to the business that they have, which is your brand, is going to be very, very, very important, because it's like sniff testing a business in the age of AI. We're going to create apps very easily. I'm going to show you this app I created in 2 hours. We're going to do this very easily, and everyone is going to do this at some point very easily as well, if it's not open to the majority of market right now because of the barriers entry and so on. There's a lot of barriers. So if this is going to be super easy, what's going to be the most important thing is like going to a perfume shop and just smelling different types of perfume and saying, okay, I want to try this out. So they're going to sniff test businesses, and the buyers will sniff test businesses before they buy. And the sniff test, the equivalent of this in our world is this exactly, in terms of how does it feel? How does this brand feel? And let me just show you exactly how you can inject AI into this onboarding process just to give that feel of premium. And this is how things roll in my world. So day zero, this guy enters. Let's say someone enters, just paid money. You say, okay, this is traditionally what we've done. How can I add AI to this? You look down here. Okay, what we can do is we can create an ID now, a client in the client hub. Let's have a software. Let's create an ID and optimize the content and material for implementation. And do not give them useless information because they're here for code development. That's point number two. And point number three, give them access to this software and say, now you have access to your personal dashboard, which is going to give them that nice onboarding experience as their dashboard page. I'm going to show you in a bit, but a nice onboarding experience in terms of welcome to this program. You made the good decision, and so on and so on. This is very easily to do because you can use tools like this. I did it in 2 hours, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. And then if you have school material, if you have any kind of material, even if it's in your dashboard, try to make it code development based and not making it all information based or philosophical and so on. And once I made this change, I allowed a bunch of people just to check it out, and they said it's much better than what it was before. Amazing. That's day number one. Day number two, what you can do is, okay, you strategically put questions in this pre-onboarding call, where when they come to the onboarding call, you're just going to ask a couple of more questions, because essentially when someone enters where your company, your program, or they were joined to work with you in any way, you need to understand where they are at, right? So in this onboarding form, what you're going to do is you're going to ask questions where you're going to feed into an AI as soon as the call is open, along with the transcript. For example, in my case, there's a bunch of forms over here. They go in their dashboard and those forms are filled out, and they can just edit the answers if they want, but they're going to auto generate the things they want. This is just increasing the time to value instead of them going through the forms for 20 minutes and typing these answers and so on. So strategic onboarding questions and so on. This is injecting AI within this process. And within this process, it's more of automation, where making sure that they receive the email, they join the platform, they added their details and so on and so on. And then you can do it and design for your own use case. And this is exactly what I've done. School material, I'm going to show you over here. We had a lot of things in the past over here, but I just shifted everything to make it, this is how you're going to do things. This is if you're in stage one. This is if you're in stage two. This is the framework that we are going to. And these are the assessments that you're going to do. And based on these assessments, they're going to be filled out from our onboarding call, because I know you don't want to go through them. But once you have that call me, AI will generate the answers for you on your dashboard, and you're just gonna have access to all of this. And this is the dashboard, by the way, but I'm gonna come to it in a bit. So the meta over here, and this is the beauty of you doing things, like running a business in a way and telling other people how you are doing things, is that you can give them these systems that work for their own business. I know it's kind of inception feeling kind of over here if you know the movie, but this is the meta in this case. And what I am doing is, we go back to school over here, we go back over here below behind Ciola. I'm packaging everything into work packages, where I'm going to give them, okay, look, this is how I did level zero. This is how I did level one. This is how I did level two. This is how I did level three. And I just give you work packages so you can apply it for your business. This is how we did the onboarding and so on, where I present to them the idea. As I told you, this is something I'm developing right now because of the feedback I got from my clients. But essentially, this is the main idea that I'm going towards. And let me show you the dashboard. This dashboard I want to get out in 2 days. So I started with it yesterday, and this was based on feedback as well. So the dashboard essentially is, when they sign up, they get like welcome. And I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna show you now the process of how to build this and how to adjust it. And by the way, this is all connected. I just want to make this point as well. This is not just looks good, looks nice, built on Lovable over here with some code and so on. No, this is actually connected and deployed and connected to the database on, I don't open Superbase here, but it's connected to the database and other tools as well. So you can go into the dashboard, you can submit a win, you can look at your history if there are any history, you can change the settings. My email will come here. I'm not going to click on this, and admin and so on. So this is just a working dashboard that you can see over here. Let me give you a process over here of how to think about this, because this is the most important part. And this is something I'm going to be doing after this video. And maybe I record that part of how I'm going to build it out as well as a live build, thinking of that idea. But essentially, since we're in this age of AI, there's no developers of here, and we can do this really fast. What you're going to do is you're going to do this 2 times. The first time you're going to do it, what's going to happen is you're going to plan this out, you're going to deploy it, you're going to think this is the final product, you're going to figure out, okay, there's a lot of bugs over here because I changed everything, and the bugs are due to my lack of clarity of what I want it to be on this dashboard. Let's go back, create the MVP plan, create the PRD, create all these documents in a proper way right now, and do it again. So do 2 times. And this is how I do it with every single client when they're building for their clients and so on. I say do it 2 times. The first time you're going to do it, you're going to go through this process. The second time is going to be the right time, the production ready format of everything. But the first time most probably will have a lot of bugs because you lack clarity of exactly what you need within the software itself. So how this happens is, point number one is you brainstorm with ChatGPT o3 model, and then you confirm the brainstorm with Claude Opus 4 model. And this is what I do. You can choose other models. If you like Gemini, go with Gemini, but I usually start with the brainstorm. And with this brainstorm process, I do the MVP plan, the UI development plan, and also I work on the PRD. I just mentioned these names, and it just gives me a bunch of documents, and I use that. Then I chunk each part within the UI development plan up, and I tell Lovable Dev, I use Lovable, you can use Bolt or any other tool, tell Lovable what ChatGPT told me, and this takes me around 15 to 10 credits. So the subscription I think is $25, and that's 10 for 100 credits. So you use 10 credits for one app, 15 credits for one app, you have 5 free credits per day. So you can get around 10 apps with a $25 subscription. 3, I sync everything on GitHub and integrate Supabase with one click on Lovable. Over here, there's a button over here, integrate Supabase, and then you put everything and sync it to GitHub, as you can see. And then you open the GitHub repo for advanced options on Cursor, where the point is, and let me just tell you point number 3. When you reach point number 3, 80% of the app that you're trying to build should be done. Then I open everything on GitHub repo and the Cursor development, the IDE, and then I connect it to a Supabase MCP so I can just make adjustments within the Cursor IDE and not get out of Cursor, because I honestly don't like working with Supabase, but it connects really well with this software stack. And then I connect everything with Vercel, where every time I push the updates to GitHub, it gets deployed on Vercel, and I can see it something like this over here, where everything is just pushed to GitHub. Amazing, amazing. So a couple of notes, which are very important notes, and this is based on experience. I use o3 to plan the most, and I use Gemini in case I have a big context because it has a larger context window. I use Gemini in order just to review what I've planned with o3 on ChatGPT. And then I use Sonnet 4, mostly Opus, to execute on the task. And this is within the Cursor IDE, and sometimes Claude Code with Cursor, which does a really, really good job. So just if you're going to follow like what the models to use and so on, this is exactly what models I use. And this is exactly how you can take advantage of this big opportunity, with the application being, and as I told you, high level strategy in order, and going all the way to the nerdy details for AI and applying it for your business or for other people's businesses as well. Look, I just showed you that we have a big opportunity right now in the AI space, and how you can approach this in terms of entering the market and actually delivering with the application that you just saw of the onboarding system. I know for a fact this is in high demand for businesses because I speak to them, I show them such things, I take their feedback, and they really, really want it. But the problem and the big caveat over here is that they do not know AI experts, AI consultants, people that they can trust exist within the marketplace, even though you are bombarded with all these X, Reddit, and all these YouTube posts and videos on a daily basis. They have no clue. And the key point that I've seen switch their light bulbs on is that when they understand the capabilities of AI. So instead of taking them into these leaps of, come on, let's inject AI within your business, streamline your processes, and so on, first build a trust with them. And the trust through micro steps of, let me just open your eyes and let you see what AI is capable of. And maybe then we can start doing business and talking business together.